Okay, this is the last video for ASL to English. This time it is the Nigel LSA digestive system. Again, a little green piece of paper, but here we go. So today we're going to look at the digestive system, all the way to the mouth, all the way down to the rectum. So of course you have to start with the food. You eat it, you put it in your mouth, and you chew it up. You know, like apples, but organic apples. You bite into it and you chew it up, and at the same time, what happens? There's little areas in your mouth that do two things. They make the food more soft, not like really soft, but just a little bit. And the second one makes it soft enough and mixes it and to make it easier to swallow. And so you notice this tube right here. It's got two parts. The front tube that goes all the way down. That helps you breathe and talk too. But the tube behind that tube, that one is for the food. That's the one that the food goes down. So how does the food go down and know which one to use? In your throat, there's this little area that separates the two tubes. The one for breathing and the one for eating. It's like a little flap, kinda. So the front tube and then the back tube. And then there's that little flap that covers the breathing tube and pushes the food down. And it slides off that flap into the tube used for swallowing food. Almost like a slide. But you have to be careful when you're eating. You have to eat slow. Because like if you're just eating as fast as you can, that flap can not close as quickly and it can cause you to choke. So you have to be careful and eat slow so that the flap can close in time so that you can eat and the food will go down the right pipe. So just be careful of that. It's very important. So you got the flap that tosses the food to the back tube and it goes all the way down. That tube is full of muscle, and what happens is it like squeezes the food and like contracts the food all the way down. But at the same time, the food is becoming softer. That's also why you need to drink water while you eat, because if you try to swallow it and it's sitting there pushing it down and it's dry, it's going to be very hard. So once it comes down the tube, it goes to the stomach. A lot of people think the stomach is right here in the middle and it's big, but it's not. It's over to the side. The one that's big and over to the middle is the liver. You can see it right here. That's our liver. The liver is actually a whole lot bigger than the stomach itself. But on the left side is where our stomach actually is. As you can see, it's a whole lot smaller, and it's got a small tube, and then it gets very big, and then it goes really small again. As you can see, the small tube is where the food meets the tube. The small opening into the stomach is where the tube meets, and that's how the food gets into your stomach. You know how people struggle with heartburn? It's because of that tube. The small opening into the stomach is shooting acid back up into the esophagus tube. So that's actually what heartburn is. It's not even from the heart. It's actually from the stomach acids. So the food goes down into the stomach, and acids break the food apart into different particles. And the stomach is squeezing and contracting and taking nutrients and moving them around, and then it shares them to the body so that you can stay strong and healthy and maintain good health. So at the very end of the stomach, you'll see that there's like another opening, and it is connected to what looks like a tube, but it's also behind the pancreas. And so what happens, like if you eat sugar, sugar like in candy or stuff, what happens is the sugar goes to the pancreas, and the pancreas keeps it in balance. So the pancreas is like, okay, this is sugar, I'm going to fit it with the different nutrients so that we can balance out our sugar levels. That's what the pancreas is for, and it's very important that it keeps our sugar in balance for diabetes and other health issues like that. So behind the pancreas is the tube that connects to the end of the stomach. It's also kind of behind the liver a little bit. You can see right here where the little opening of where the tube fits. It's very small, but it's right there. That is called the gallbladder. It's very small, and it's behind the liver, but it's just a little bit. So what happens is that food goes through that tube, and again it's squeezing the fluid by contracting the muscles, and it moves into this area right here. This area, as you can see where it is in relation to my body, is below the stomach and the liver, and it goes back and forth and back and forth. It's around 25 feet long. It's really long, but the food goes through each of it, and it's just a muscle that squeezes it all the way through. And it takes out different nutrients that the body needs and extracts it from that area. But at the same time, the body is taking the dirty stuff or the things that's unhealthy for our body and sending it to this area. And the food is changing as it's going through this area. And then it reaches the final opening, as you can see right here. It's at the very bottom, and this area was called the intestines. So you have the large intestines, which sits right here, as you can see. The large intestines actually goes all the way around the intestines we were first speaking of, the small intestines. And so what happens is the small intestines then transfers the food, or what it used to be food, into the large intestines, and it goes up. But you have to be careful, because if the feces or what used to be food goes down instead of going up, it can become infected and it can become very serious, and you have to go to the hospital. And if you have to go to the hospital for that, you'll have to go to have surgery, and then you'll be fine. But you just got to be very careful. You want it to go up into the large intestines, around the small intestines, back down, and then it goes down to the rectum, and that is how the digestive system is complete.